It is with great pleasure that I introduce the RICH-Ed project to you. One of the first tasks faced by any project team is to find a suitable name. A name that is both ear-catching and expresses a sense of the basic idea and purpose of the project. That is exactly what we try to capture in the name RICH-Ed, our drive to enrich education. In our case, that is intercultural learning, teaching and training in higher education in Chinese contexts. Now, a project also needs a memorable logo, and the design of the RICH-Ed logo echoes the well-known yin-yang symbol. It highlights our view that cultures in today's globalized world are more complementary, interrelated, and interdependent than ever. By choosing blue and red instead of black and white as our project colors, the logo evokes the close collaboration and dialogue between the RICH-Ed project partners, some of which based in Europe, blue, others in China, red. My name is Jan Van Maele. I work at the Faculty of Engineering Technology of KU Leuven in Belgium, and together with my colleagues there, we've had the honor of taking up the global coordination and management of the RICH-Ed project. This project was approved for co-funding by the European Commission under the so-called Erasmus program as a CBHE project, Capacity Building for Higher Education. And it's important to underline from the start that our capacity building activities have addressed a variety of target groups within Chinese higher education. Students, their teachers, as well as administrative staff, management staff, and their trainers. Now, the R in RICH-Ed stands for resources, and it's indeed the resources that are the most readily visible output of the project. We developed first a pedagogic framework about interculturality and intercultural education, then a set of student learning modules with accompanying teacher support tools, and also a set of staff modules with trainer support tools. And we've tested these materials in 2 regions of the country, the Northeast and the Yangtze River Delta. And in the process, we've elicited valuable feedback from thousands of people, from students, teachers, staff, and intercultural experts from China and outside, without whom we could not have accomplished all this. So thank you so much. 非常感谢. Now in this presentation, I would like to give you a global overview of the project, starting with the rationale of why we wanted to set up this project, going to the objectives that we try to achieve with the project, moving on to introduce the partner universities that were engaged in this effort, then saying something about the activities through which we strive to reach the objectives, the output that has been produced, and finally the story beyond the project itself and how you can be part of that. Regarding the reasons why we felt there was a need for a project like RICH-Ed, first, it goes without saying that as the interaction between Chinese people and the rest of the world increases, with more contacts within the country as well as outside of it, higher education needs to be well equipped to prepare students so they can be skillful communicators and have a sound understanding of the challenges and the opportunities that cultural diversity brings. Secondly, we detected a need for more coherence in intercultural teaching and training, in the sense that we should try to achieve a better fit between a modern conceptual pedagogic framework and concrete methods and materials. And at the same time, we sense the need for more modular materials, materials that teachers and trainers alike can mobilize flexibly in a wide range of contexts, be it English courses, dedicated intercultural communication courses, webinars, workshops, seminars. And third, we saw the need for a so-called non-essentialist approach that doesn't reduce people to a single, often national cultural identity, an identity that is defined as a rock-hard set of given distinctive characteristics that apply to all members of the group. Instead, RICH-Ed seeks to make space for a more contemporary view of culture as something that is constructed and cultivated and negotiated by all of us each and every day. Culture as a continuously changing flow through what we say and what we do together with others. So, to address these needs, RICH-Ed defined 4 formal objectives for the project. Let us read them together as a summary of what I've said so far. So, first objective, to develop and then disseminate a pedagogic framework for intercultural learning in Chinese higher education. The second objective, to develop and make available tested learning tools and teacher support tools for intercultural learning at Chinese higher education institutions. Thirdly, to raise the capacity of teaching staff in intercultural teaching in the 2 target regions, the Yangtze River Delta and northeastern China. And fourth, to heighten understanding of interculturality and its contribution to modernizing higher education among administrative and management staff at the 5 Chinese partner universities. So it is high time now to take a closer look at who those partners are with whom we strive to meet these objectives. On the Chinese side, the 5 partner universities manifest quite some variation in their origin, their mission, academic profile, size, so that they can represent the variety of higher education in the Northeast and the Yangtze River Delta. 2 partners are located in Dongbei in the northeast of China, namely Jilin University in Changchun and Harbin Institute of Technology in Heilongjiang Province. 3 partners are located in the Yangtze River Delta: the University of Nottingham Ningbo, China, Zhejiang Wanli University in the same city, Ningbo, and Hangzhou Dianzi University. On the European side, RICH-Ed brought together 3 former partners of the IREST Lifelong Learning Project: the University of Bologna in Italy, the then coordinator of IREST, Durham University in the UK, and KU Leuven in Belgium, the coordinator of the RICH-Ed project. And so these are the 8 universities that together make up the RICH-Ed project partnership. Let us now move on and take a look at the activities that we arranged in order to meet the project objectives. During the first phase of the project, we conducted activities in preparation of the development of the resources. We conducted a study into the current state of intercultural learning and education in the country. We drew up stakeholder maps and met with over 250 stakeholders in the process. And we organized 3 peer training sessions, one in Ningbo, one in Harbin, and one in Hangzhou, focusing respectively on the pedagogical approaches, the methodologies, and the activities. The second phase of the project consisted of the development of the initial materials, the resources. First, the pedagogical framework, then all the learning tools, both for students and for staff, and thirdly, the corresponding support tools for the teachers and the trainers. All the resources that we developed were also tested in a methodical way. The student learning materials were tested with more than 2,000 students at over a dozen universities in the target regions, and feedback was elicited from students, teachers, and external experts through questionnaires and interviews. Because the resources were also tested outside the partnership, we conducted teacher training workshops with over 200 teachers in 4 locations in 2019. And further training was organized online through video lectures and Q&A webinars in the spring of 2020. The staff training materials finally were tested with over 120 staff within the partnership, and feedback was elicited through questionnaires and peer observation. And on the basis of all this data, the materials were revised one more time so they could be shared with interested parties both inside and outside the partner universities. So, what have we produced in this project that may be of interest to you? Well, let's take a look at the deliverables together here. First of all, there is a text of over 10,000 words that constitutes a pedagogic framework for intercultural learning in Chinese higher education. Secondly, there are the learning tools for students. 8 modules, each comprising at least 4 class hours that have been tested with over 2,000 students. Thirdly, there is a set of teacher support tools, both in writing and in video, to accompany the modules. Fourth, we have produced training tools for staff, 5 modules of at least 2 class hours, and also a concept for training within the English salon context. All of that has been tested at the partner universities. And accompanying that, finally, there are the trainer support tools for staff training. Now that all the resources have been developed and the project comes to an end, you may wonder, what is next? Well, in a way we could say that the project itself was just the initial phase of a broader effort to strengthen intercultural learning in Chinese higher education. Here are some of the ways in which we intend to sustain the RICH-Ed mission. We will seek to integrate our intercultural learning materials in courses in higher education across China. And of course, this implies that we will continue to provide teacher training. Next, structural initiatives are set up for intercultural staff training within the partnership. And in addition, some partners will provide an offering of intercultural training to staff from other universities in the country. And what is more, some partners have already started conducting intercultural training for organizations and companies outside higher education. So yes, rest in peace, RICH-Ed project. But long live the RICH-Ed network. Will you join us? We hope so. Let us know. So this concludes a general introduction to the RICH-Ed project. Thank you very much for listening. I hope I will soon have the chance to talk to you about it in person when we can meet. In the meantime, don't hesitate to ask around and find out more about us. You can look at the website for further information. And you also find my personal email address here in case you would like to contact me.